How's it going, everybody? My name is Fionn and I'm here today to talk all things Sligo Rovers ahead of the upcoming season. Thank you very much, Keith, for inviting me on. It's a pleasure as always. So, firstly, I'd like to start with my thoughts on last season. I like to keep this short and sweet, to be honest, because last year was another disaster. Start to finish, really disappointing season. Thankfully, we did enough to stay up, but it was just one of those ones where you just wanted the season to end rather than continue. Really tough one to take last year. Johnny Russell's first year in charge as manager. I know he's been around the club for the last couple of years in the assistant manager role, but first year manager in management was definitely a tough one for him. But I'm sure he's learned a lot from last year in this pre-season. Now that he has time to reflect on some of the mistakes he's made. And I'm not saying it's solely his fault for what happened last year, because some of the players were just nowhere near the level that's expected. Some of the signings he made were just really poor. I think these players that are coming from different leagues, not really knowing what to expect with this league, think it'll be a walk in a park, and it's really not. The standard in the league has improved massively over the last couple of years. And I think it was a rude awakening for a lot of the signings. But I'm a bit more optimistic coming into this year with the signings, just because I think the signings he's made, well, the majority of the signings he's made are known to the league, which is a huge plus. Signing Conor Malley, J.R. Wilson, Simon Power from Sligo Rovers is also a big one. So there's players that know the league, know what it takes, to be in this league, to play in this league, because it's a very challenging league. I'm sure other people who don't support this league might think, "Oh Jesus, it's just one of those easy leagues," but really not. The football is improving, and signing these players that know the league is a big plus. A couple of big signings as well. Most notably, and the latest one, Ed McGinty coming back on loan from Oxford. It's fantastic news, if I'm going to be honest. McGinty was a big part of our success over the last couple of years, especially in Europe. His last game, I think, was against Bala Town when he saved the penalty to make us go through. What a player. Delighted he's back. Also, Chapman from Cheltenham. I know we have a relationship now with Cheltenham after we gave him Aidan Keena, but Chapman looks the part completely, looking really well. Scored a couple of goals in pre-season already. Really promising signing, and he's definitely somebody that a lot of Rovers fans are excited to see in the upcoming season. Another one as well, he just came through our academy but signed his first professional contract, Owen Eldon. He's looking the part. Absolutely delighted with the way he's been playing in pre-season. Obviously the son of Anthony Eldon, who's a big Rovers player. He's looking the part, scoring goals, still young. So not really a lot of expectations for him, just to go out there and learn. But I'm sure he's gonna have some part to play this year. Very promising looking. Some of the outs. First one, really the most notable one in my opinion, David Cawley. Big surprise that we let him go, because I was expecting him to be around for another year, maybe even another 2 years, because he's the type of player that puts his heart in his sleeve and always gives 100%. Even last season when the going gets tough, he was always the player that kind of left everything out in the pitch. So sad to see him go. I think he's gone up to Finn Harps now. And look, wish David all the best, because he's a Rovers legend in my opinion. The last couple of years he's been up there with one of our best players. Also another big loss for us is Greg Bulger, who's made the move down to Cork. That's going to be a difficult one to take as well. Good signing. I can see the reason why he's gone. No hard feelings really. He's gone down to Cork, I think, because realistically he's getting on in his age, and with the likes of Chapman coming in, Simon Power coming in, Niall Moorhan progressing, the game time might not be what he wants, and I think he'll get more game time down in Cork as well. And I'm sure he's getting a similar wage, if not maybe even more, down in Cork. And then McNicholas as well, who went out on loan to Wrexham but signed his full-time deal over in Wrexham there just last week. Big move for him. He's a good keeper. Sad to see him go. But with McGinty back, I'm not too worried in that department. Because we also have Conor Walsh, the young goalkeeper as well, who's impressed a lot of Rovers fans. I know he's kind of thrown under the bus last year a little bit when McNicholas went on loan. But he's still a young keeper. He's a lot to learn. And I think just playing alongside McGinty in training, learning from him, I think it's going to be a massive plus. And I can see him being number one in a couple of years, because McGinty is obviously just a loan. So we'll see how that goes. I know Richard Brush is still around, but I don't think he's really in a player capacity anymore. I think he's more with the goalkeeping coaches. So yeah, promising in that department. I still think that we're very short at the back. Obviously, John Mahon, notably being injured, looks like he's going to be out for many, many months, which is definitely a tough one. Tough one to take, because he was up there, one of our most important players last year. Just looking, he's going to be out for a while. So I still do think that we're short at the back. We still need at least 2 signings, in my opinion, just to be more reassured. I still know that we're still in the transfer market anyway. Looking like we might sign Ryan Smith, who's a striker. He's looking promising enough, and I know Shamie Keogh was back as well. He's been training with the squad and been with them during pre-season, as well as Mark Byrne. 2 very good young players, still unproven in my opinion. I know Keogh went up to Finn Harp last year, and he definitely found it tough. I'd say it's a tough league down there, and Finn Harp just feel a bit bad for them. Really, just didn't start the best last year, and it's kind of hard up to make ground. But now that Shamie Keogh's back, I'm sure he's learned a lot from it. So hopefully he can get off to a good start if he signs. My hopes for this year coming. Well, obviously, I hope that we're back up fighting for Europe, but I have to be realistic in that I don't think we will be. I still do think it's going to be another tough year for Johnny Russell and the team. But I still think we're going to be more comfortable than we were last year, because I'm sure Johnny Russell's has learned a lot, and is going to be able to rectify those mistakes from last year. So yeah, I still think that we're going to be down there. Hopefully kind of mid-table up towards Europe, but I'm kind of thinking more that it's still going to be a fight down at the bottom. I still think we'll be safe. I think looking across the league, I think Shamrock Rovers, St. Pat's are going to be up there still. Derry will be up there. And then I think it's kind of going to be a mixture between the rest. Waterford making a couple of good signings. Bows, I've yet to see anything really that's kind of impressed me. I still think they're going to make a couple of signings before the season starts, but I know a lot of them are not too happy with how the transfer market's going so far for them. Galway walked the league last year in Division 1, so they're going to be a definitely exciting team to look forward to next year, and Waterford as well. So I think it's going to be a difficult one for sure, but I think with the signings we've made, add a couple more, I think we'll be safe enough. One thing I really want to see this year, and I've said it the last couple of years, and I'm going to say it again, I want a cup run, because just the last couple of years, getting knocked out in the first round every time was just so disappointing, especially when our league form hasn't been going great. It's a way to get into Europe, but just it's been very disappointing the way things are going. So I hope that we can achieve that. Maybe not even win the cup, but just get as far as we can. So fingers crossed on that. Overall, I'm optimistic, but I'm realistic at the same time. Off the field, we're doing a lot of good work. Bit of Red Supporters Trust, as always, just doing a fantastic job in supporting the club by doing fundraisers, everything they can. The new floodlights coming up is great work done by Bit of Red Supporters Trust. So hats off to them. The club would be lost without them, to be honest. The work they do is impeccable. So fingers crossed for next year. or for this year even coming up. It'll be a difficult one as always, but it's always a difficult one when you're Sligo Rovers, but it makes it worth it. Yeah, up the Rovers.